Okay, Wendy, the recording is in process. Today is December, I think today's December 6th.
It is. It is
Your
definitely
birthday.
It is my birthday. It is my birthday.
Happy birthday, Wendy.
Thank you, Trey. I turned 45 today.
All
45
right.
years old.
You're
Yep,
45?
you'll be 44 in February. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
We're getting old, Trey. We're getting old.
All right, good deal. Well, happy birthday. If you haven't listened to the show before, I'm Trey. This is Wendy. Wendy's my sister. We go in here and talk about SEC football, college football. We're Alabama football fans. I consider myself to be fairly rational. Wendy.
I'm not rational. I'm not rational at all.
Wendy, we do have to get to this point really quick. Wendy, this whole thing has been is who is the king of college football. Now we're gonna bring in Chris. He's in the waiting room right now. We're gonna bring in Chris and get him in. But this whole thing's who's been the king of college football, Wendy. I will have to give it to you. You have said the entire time that you think Bama is still the king. Let's get into it, Wendy. Real quick, happy birthday.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk about all this stuff. Let's get Chris Arnold.
Yeah, let's get Arnold in.
Let's get Chris Arnold into the mix here. Why does this screen do this? Things pop up on the screen to where I can't see how to admit somebody.
Well, it's weird that I always think when I put my hair up and then I get it on this computer screen and I'm like, God, I look like a crazy person. Oh, well, it don't matter.
Here comes Nacho himself. What's up? What's up, Nacho?
What's going on? Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
We did it.
We're back in black. Let me go over just a couple of things real quick, because if I don't, I'll forget about it. The producer of the show wanted me to mention, number one, Connor from my office, the wild man. We talked about him on the score prediction. He did predict the exact score, so yes, Connor, congratulations. Connor is a guy that literally will be burning rubber into this office at 9:30 on a Wednesday morning. This guy has I'm not sure the brakes work in his car. I do have one other thing real quick. Well, I'll get into that in a minute. All right, so let's get into this. We're going to talk about the Alabama-Georgia game. We have some other stuff that happened last week. Wendy, Chris, break it down. Alabama versus Georgia in the SEC Championship game 2023. Wendy, let's start with you. What's up?
Well, I mean, all I have to say is the king of college football is the University of Alabama. I keep trying to tell everybody what I know because I know what I know. I call it right all the time. And I'm going to tell you something. They can't beat us in Atlanta. We were the better team on Saturday. We were the better team. Our defense played lights out. Dude, we looked like an NFL team. I don't know about our throwing of the ball, but y'all, hands down, best game of the year. I didn't think anything could beat that Auburn game. That Georgia game beat that Auburn game. I mean, y'all, I'm still I still cannot believe it. I still cannot believe it.
Nacho, what's up?
Yeah, first off, I think today's your birthday, right, Wendy?
It is.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Chris.
Did Trey already wish you a happy birthday?
He did. I think his wife had to remind him, but he did. He did good.
All right, that's why you have wives, right?
That's right.
Bingo.
That's right.
So, yeah, no, it was an incredible game. The second half was a little slower in terms of offensive production, and but yeah, I mean, we played to win the game. We won the game. When we went, I think we went 3-and-out on the first drive, and then Georgia went down and scored. I did not have a good feeling, especially since, I'm superstitious. We were getting a new sofa delivered, so there was no sofa, and my like lucky spot was taken, and the guys came in right during kickoff, and I'm just like, got a giant glass of whiskey, and I'm starting to freak out, and I had to hide in the TV. I had to hide in the bedroom for a little bit and watch it back there, and then I came back to my spot, and then what happened? We took over the ballgame.
Yep,
we did it. They played really, really, really well. You're right. I don't want to say the NFL team, but close to it.
Well, I think our defense looked, I mean, I was so impressed with our defense. They were all over this quarterback. Mm-hmm. Something the pundit said, and I did not know this, Beck has not been sacked all year. He had not been sacked all year until that game, y'all.
Really?
Wow.
He had not been sacked all year. So here's the thing. Had any of us thought about that, we would have thought, well, Alabama's going to get to him at least twice. And you get a big old boy hit him. You know what I mean? All I'm trying to say is if you're not used to getting hit every game, Milroe gets sacked 97 times a game, right? He's used to it. You hit these boys, right? A big old boy coming at you 1 or 2 times. I think it frazzled him some, y'all. I had no idea the guy hadn't been sacked. I had no idea.
That just shows you the weakness of their schedule then, too.
That's right.
Yeah, 100%. And we all know this about college football. It's about the athlete. Yeah, can you scheme up a win or two? Sure you can. But it's all about you have got to have the athletes to compete in this world. Alabama definitely has the athletes. Georgia has the athletes. I thought the two teams looked like two of the best teams in college football. It was a heavyweight battle. I mean, it was hitting. People know what they're doing out there. Just to get a completed pass out there is not easy to do. Listen, Georgia gets the ball and runs right down the field, and they've got all kind of motions going on, and this looks like a problem. But Alabama changed their defense up a little bit, Saban said, and really played with them the rest of the game. The one thing I didn't understand, Georgia did not take near as many shots as I thought they would take. They didn't throw the ball vertical near as much as I thought they would throw the ball vertical. And also the other thing is Georgia kept running these like tall sweeps.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there going like, we've got the biggest, fastest people on planet Earth doing this, and you don't think we're going to run out there and get this guy? I thought the 2 or 3 times that they did that, I was like, well, maybe once or twice. But the 3rd or 4th time, I'm like, I don't know about that play calling, Wendy. And here's the point. I thought it was a heavyweight battle. Number one, Georgia misses the field goal.
Yeah.
Georgia misses the field goal. It's a huge play in the game. Number 2, Georgia fumbles the football down there inside the 10. I thought it was a big deal that we didn't get a touchdown there. I thought that might come back to bite us. But those are some major mistakes in these games. Now, I did talk to some Georgia fans after the game, a.k.a. Barry Webb.
Oh.
I'm going to give Barry some slack. Barry is a really good friend of mine. Barry is a hardcore college football fan and a Georgia fan. He was not thrilled with the referees. He wasn't thrilled with the referees. He wasn't blaming the referees. I'll give him some slack. But, like the catch on that 4th and 4, whatever it was in the first half that they did not review.
Yep.
Listen, I was telling Destiny at the house, run the play, get another play off. And the ball might have moved a little bit, but I don't ever think he really lost control of the ball. Like, it might have moved, but he didn't lose control of the ball. So that was kind of a moot point for me. But once again, Wendy, and we have to talk about this, Arnold, Kirby Smart, Nick Saban is Kirby Smart's bugaboo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All teams have them, and I'm really glad that Kirby Smart has a problem with beating Nick Saban. It's a bugaboo. What do y'all think?
It's like they went back to scared Georgia. Georgia used to be scared of Alabama. And then they beat us once, and then they became the kings of college football. Well, it's after they went down and scored that touchdown, they turned into a totally different team. It's like they went back. It's like they went back, 2 or 3 years back to, Saban owns me.
It's almost like they were playing not to lose that early in the game, right? I can see that later in some games. I don't think you can ever play Bama not to lose. Right. It's like they scored that touchdown, and from then on out, it felt like they were just playing not to lose a ball game instead of playing to beat Alabama. That's what it felt like for me.
That's right. And can we talk about when McKinstry went out and the guy that came in, how amazing of a job he did? Yep. He shut down Bowers on that play. He had a really nice play later on in the game as well.
That's right.
I think it was Amos.
And it goes back to your point, Trey, of athletes. You have to have the athletes on the field that can do it.
Yeah, did anybody hear what happened to Kool-Aid? I mean, I've never heard an injury. I've never heard an injury report. Is he okay? What's up?
I have no idea.
All I heard is they expect him to be back for the first round playoff. That's what I've heard, is that it's not, they don't think it's a long-term injury. But Trey, I mean, I'm like, Chris, they put this Amos kid in, and of course Georgia goes straight to Bowers, that's who he was defended. And I think they actually did 2 plays in a row on Amos. And I'm if we've got backups like that, man, you ain't beating us. Right. You ain't beating us. But I mean, here's the thing, going back to what Trey said. I have a lot of friends that laugh at me. They're like, why do you give other coaches hard times about their call playing when you're playing them? You want to win. And I'm like, I sat there through the whole second half and was like, what is Bobo doing? Like, what exactly is he calling? Like, it didn't even feel like the calls that they were even desperate to win. But I'm going to tell you where they had us, Arnold and Trey. They did that hurry up offense on that last touchdown they got. We couldn't keep up with them. That whole entire drive, y'all, they did it hurry up. It was just no huddle, no huddle. Had they started that 5 minutes earlier, 2 drives earlier, that game may have looked different. They ran us down that field. We were tired, and they ran it. I mean, they got it down that field quick. So when they put a hurry up offense on us, they scored in what, about a minute and a half, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and listen, it's a heavyweight battle, we do this every year. I want to give it up for these players, Alabama, Georgia players, and really all college football players that go out there and lay it on the line. You know, I know the bigger story was the Georgia, the McConkey guy, who's their tight end,
Bowers.
Yeah, Bowers. These guys are limping, giving it all they've got for their team, and you know that's really impressive. And Alabama has players hurt too. Listen, in college football, all these guys are a little bit nicked up. So really, really good, and we appreciate the guys going out there and banging it out. I will say this. Let's talk about this real quick. Talking about play calling. Into the game, Alabama's trying to ice this football game, and they run this like a fake sweep, and Milroe kind of runs it up the middle. It's a play nobody has seen all year long. They kind of pull it out from the shoe. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where like, hey, remember that stuff that nobody's seen? Let's see if it works. And Milroe picks up 2 first downs and ends the game. So that was a really big play call by the Alabama offensive coordinator. Wendy, I do have a lady in the office, and let's talk about some of this, some of these, what do you call them? The things, you know, where you have to sit in the bathroom if you're.
Oh, yes, I did. I was in the bathroom the first time we scored. I had to stay in the bathroom.
So this lady works with us. Her name's Meredith, and she is hardcore Alabama, like Roll Tide, like kill everybody. She wants everybody to lose that can possibly lose. Well, her daughter leaves the house and goes to Target to get something and calls and asks, hey, I'm coming back home. Do you need anything? And she goes, well, you can't come back here. And her daughter's like, wait a minute, I can't come home? She's like, no, you cannot come home until after the game. So there is real superstition going on in these games.
Yep.
And,
absolutely.
And you have got to stay in it to win it. Y'all, listen, we're going to move from the Georgia game to the Alabama game. Is there anything else y'all want to talk about with that? Because we have got to get into the CFP.
Oh, yeah. So the only other thing I'm going to say is, and I do want to touch on it, the Florida State-Louisville game. Chris, did you stay up to watch it?
I watched some of it. It was too hard to watch. I mean, it was brutally hard game to watch.
I just want to make sure that we're all agreeing that, I mean, I will say this, Florida State's defense legit, y'all. I will give Florida State's defense some credit. They're really legit. That was the longest, worst game I've ever had to sit and watch through, just like hoping something would go our way so it wouldn't be a travesty on Sunday. Right. But I will say that game was a huge letdown for me. But that Texas team, y'all, Texas looks good. I watched the Texas game at noon as well, and I'm just going to tell you, Texas looked good. Texas.
Not to jump ahead, but we're having a Bama-Texas rematch for the
I think so too.
I mean, yeah, it's set up perfectly.
Yep. All right, Trey, take us into it.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, and we're talking about it now. The CFP comes out. When I go to bed on Saturday night, I'm like, Alabama's in. They're not going to leave a one-loss SEC team out of this with Florida State having a bad, banged-up quarterback. And Florida State can complain all they want to. Number one, if there's 5 Power 5 conferences, there's only 4 spots anyway. The thing is designed that somebody's going to get left out. In years past, we've had the ACC knock themselves out. We've had the Pac-12 knock themselves out with 14 losses out there. Well, this year they're getting a spot. So you're squeezing the playoff bracket anyway. You can't put FSU in if they can't score a point. So it's not that big.
Quarterback threw for 55 yards in that game. 55.
It was 3-3, y'all. The score was 3-3 at the end of the third quarter. 3-3 at the end of the third quarter.
And the weather was fine.
Yeah, weather was fine.
Yeah, so, I mean, is it bad for Florida State? Sure it is. But, I mean, Alabama won the SEC, and they're like, oh, well, FSU was 2-0 against the SEC. Alabama was 8 or 9-0 in the SEC.
Right.
I mean, it's like, get a grip. I thought Alabama deserved to be in. I thought who really got the bad break is really Georgia. I mean, I'm not like a Georgia sympathizer, but, I mean, my God, they're the best team in college football on planet Earth. Everybody's declared them the king of college football.
Not me. Not me. Yeah, I'm not claiming them to be nothing.
Right. Wendy, but they lose by 3 points in a championship game, and all of a sudden they're playing in the Orange Bowl, and really a downer for the Georgia Bulldogs. But Wendy, Alabama gets in, they're going to have to play Michigan, and Texas gets in, they're going to have to play Washington. What's going to happen? What's up?
So I knew Bama was in when Texas came in at 3. So when it popped up that Texas was 3, because if Florida State was in, they were undefeated. They should have been 3, Texas 4, SEC gets left out, right? That's just in my mind. So I knew when Texas came up at 3 that we were most likely in. I still had a 25% of me that really thought maybe Georgia. I know that sounds really weird. I couldn't see them leaving the SEC out, but thought maybe they'll go for Georgia over us. They can probably make that argument, right?
Wendy,
that's what I thought. That's
Wendy,
what I thought.
You thought they were about to put Georgia in. You know they're going to put Georgia in over Alabama when Alabama just beat them.
Well, you don't know because nobody wanted. All they were talking. Y'all know I'm right. All they were talking about for weeks is how Bama wasn't getting in, and if FSU stayed undefeated, they were getting in. And this was after their quarterback got hurt. So, I mean, these are real conversations I'm listening to. I wanted to think the way you thought, but here's the bottom line. Who everybody should be mad at is this little team called Michigan, the cheaters, the fact that they let cheaters in. Y'all don't need to be mad at Bama. You need to be mad that Michigan's in there. They're under investigation. The guy's been suspended twice this year, the beginning of the season and the end. They're cheaters, y'all. So to me, who everybody should be mad about is we've got cheaters in. You want to be mad about something, Florida State, be mad that literal cheaters, they're caught, it's proven, got in this year and you didn't. That's who I think that's what makes me mad, guys. I don't know what y'all's feelings on it.
Look, if you want to take it old school, I think Florida State Seminole fans have actually understood better than most fan bases would, honestly. Mm-hmm. I think it's all the noise surrounding everybody else. But, everybody wants to blame TCU last year for getting blown out and getting in there. They beat Michigan in the
semifinal.
Mm-hmm. But even further back, FSU, you want to talk about old school, like 93, I think it was. It was West Virginia was undefeated. Nebraska was undefeated. Florida State, I think, lost to Notre Dame by like a field goal at the end of the game. And they got into the Natty over West Virginia. So, I mean, these things happen, right? It's the best teams. So, no offense to Florida State, but they just, without a quarterback, you can't do it. I mean, that's all it boils down to. That's all it boils down to.
Yeah, especially with as dynamic as Florida State's quarterback is. I mean, this is not like a turnaround and hand it off running back and they're built around their running game. I mean, so, yeah, I thought they did a good job doing it. I really thought they might have put Michigan and Washington in the Rose Bowl. I know they don't do it like that, but kind of Alabama, Texas down in the Sugar Bowl, put Washington and Michigan out there in the Rose Bowl. That's more of a natural tie-in game. That all that kind of works itself out. It would be kind of keeping everybody on the same. Yeah,
it's still a business. What's better for the bottom line? The national championship with Alabama and Texas.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You've got Alabama beating Michigan and Texas beating Washington.
Well, I don't think Washington, honestly, I think Georgia, I don't think Washington's that good. Nobody's really going to convince me that anybody in the Pac-12 is that good. I know you and I fundamentally disagree on this quarterback, but he hadn't seen a defense like a Bama defense or a Texas defense, Trey.
That's right.
They're going to slaughter this kid. Like, they're going to make him nervous like we did Beck. You start hitting up on these guys, they ain't seen guys like number 77 and 74. They don't know these guys exist over there. They don't know these guys exist. So Washington's going to get drilled by Texas. That's what's going to happen. But did y'all see the video of when Michigan found out they had to play us?
Oh, I love it.
Did y'all see the reaction? They're scared out of their minds already. And they can say whatever. Yep.
He smacked his own knees and stuff.
Yep. I watched a different player every time. My favorite guy is right when they said it. He took his hoodie and he went like this. He put his head down. I was like, y'all are as scared as you've ever been. They didn't want to play us. They wanted to play a crappy FSU team. That's what they wanted.
A free pass to the Natty because they didn't get last year.
But let's talk about this. Who is more hated? And now we're Alabama people, but who is more hated? Michigan or the University of Alabama?
This year, Michigan's more hated. Just because of the cheating scandal, I do believe that Michigan is more hated this year. Regularly, it's Alabama.
So there's Bama fatigue, and then outside of Michigan fans, nobody likes Harbaugh.
Right.
He's
Agreed.
a jerk.
Yep.
Everybody think I like his brother. I think his
He's
brother's
a cheater.
coach, but Harbaugh, I know this is a family friendly show, so I'll try and he's not a very likable guy.
No, I can't stand him.
And so I don't think outside of the Michigan fan base, anybody really likes Michigan.
Right.
I know there's Bama fatigue, absolutely, but they respect Saban. You can't not respect him.
Yep.
So
right.
It's interesting. But like Wendy said, the cheating this year, I think nobody wants Michigan to do anything.
I mean, that's just what I think. I mean, I agree with Chris. I think any other year it's Bama, but I think this year, collectively, I think there's a lot more people that are upset that they're in over the cheating. And again, I want to look at FSU and just say, look, y'all need to be upset about that. I would be upset about that. I am upset about that. You know what I mean? But Trey, I think we're going to drill Michigan. I could be wrong. I mean, Michigan has had no luck against the SEC in these games. They've lost to Georgia. They've lost to Bama. They can't seem to get past like the SEC part of it. And I just don't see how we can put a game plan together without coming and stealing our signs.
Well, not only that, but you give us a month to get ready for it, right? You give Saban a month to get ready for anybody. Typically when that happens, watch out.
Yeah.
But especially Harbaugh, who talks so much garbage, especially about Saban and Alabama. So there's some personal vendetta in there.
Yeah. 100%. And I think we played Michigan 3 or 4 years ago and ended up beating them. And here's the thing: Harbaugh has proven they couldn't beat them. Harbaugh proved they couldn't beat TCU without knowing their signal.
That's right.
I mean, that's just a fact. Now they have since probably won some games where they didn't know everybody's signals, but that's probably some intrigue of the game. Wendy, the game goes off January 1st. Guys, we're about to get off here. I've really enjoyed it. Listen. Y'all got anything else y'all want to bring up today? What's up?
I mean, I'm going to say this about Booger McFarland. He ain't listening, but just in case, we're more popular than I think. Buddy, you really look like a little sore loser on Sunday morning, man. I love Booger. Like, he's one of my favorites. And I lost a lot of respect for him. It felt very whiny to me. I don't know if anybody else watched that show, but it felt very.
What are you talking about when he was complaining that FSU didn't get in?
He was saying how much of a travesty it was for FSU, and they're undefeated. Why are we even playing the game?
Right.
This is, know.
And it's almost like, dude, y'all see this stuff more than we do. I mean, y'all have people and analysts that are breaking this down to the letter. We're just watching a game, right? Like, we're, as fans, we know it, but we're just watching a game. It just felt like some of that was designed to kind of push this narrative. And I don't really like that, because then what you have is a whole entire fan base that obviously is upset, players that are upset. I was upset for the players. It's hard to see them that upset. These are kids. They're kids,
Yeah, but nothing but respect for Jordan Travis for tweeting or whatever he did. Take it all the way, Brody. Talking to Jalen Milroe, like in 4 we trust. Good on them for understanding and accepting. It doesn't make it any easier. I don't disagree. I don't.
Right.
But
here's my last conspiracy. I got one conspiracy, and it's this Georgia FSU game. My conspiracy is FSU drops out of the game and doesn't play. Here's why. I think that we know what the narrative is, right? Like, Georgia to Alabama would kill them. They'd kill Florida State. If they play in this game, that's going to prove that the college football playoff did the right thing, right? If Georgia kills them. So I'll be interested to see if Florida State shows up for that game, y'all. I really am.
I'd be more interested to see if Georgia shows up, because they're let down. They don't necessarily care. It's a no-win situation for them, right?
Yeah.
If they lose, they look like jerks, right? They don't look like they deserve to be there. But it's not a playoff game, so what do they really care?
Yeah, I didn't think about that, Chris. But no, you're right. It really is for both of them, I guess you could say. Yeah. So that game is a little bit more interesting to me than I thought it would be.
Well, it's very interesting. Number one, Florida State and Georgia, they need to get on the football field and play. Let me tell you something. They can talk about everything they want to talk about. Everybody can talk about the transfer program, NIL, blah, 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 blah. It's all predicated on one thing. That is playing football. That's what it's all predicated on. TV contracts, NIL, transfer portal, all this crap. It is predicated on playing football. That is the determining factor. So if you're a football player on the football team, you play football. That's what you do. I would expect Georgia to be ready to play. I would expect Florida State to be ready to play. If it's anything like what they're saying, Florida State opens up a 14-point underdog to Georgia. And they don't even know who's playing in the game and who's not playing in the game.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the point that I'm getting to. But if you're a football player out there, and I know it's weird times where you have to sit out because of transfer portal and this and that and blah, 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 that's fine. I understand. But I'll tell you one thing, you will never convince me that playing football, you should not be playing football. Play in the game. Play football. Now, listen, if you're like the guy Caleb Williams out there at USC that's going to the pros, that you know, I understand that point. I got that point. But 96% of the time, the players need to play the freaking game. That's what you do. That's what drives your NIL. That's what drives the TV deals. That's what drives your value.
That's
your
right.
value is not sitting on the sideline with a gold chain on talking to your aunt.
Right.
Your value is out there making a tackle, out there making a block. That is what you do every day, all day. Okay, that's just my thought. Yeah, that's just my thought.
Talking to your aunt.
Well, yeah. I mean, aunt, cousin, brother, whoever they talk to out there. Yeah, I mean, whoever they talk to out there. All right, listen, y'all, we're going to jump off here. Really enjoyed it. Listen, we're going to take a couple weeks off. So hope everybody out there has a great time. Christmas is coming up. You know, it's a great time of year. Call your family, call your friends, just see how they're doing. It's a really, really big time of year. Some people are really lonely this time of year. Yep. Pick up the phone, call a friend, maybe call some people that you hadn't called in a little while. It might help them out, and it might help us out too, help you out as well. Wendy, Chris, love y'all. We're going to get off here. Y'all got anything else?
Love you. Roll Tide. Happy birthday, Wendy.
Thank y'all.
Happy birthday. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. We'll
hey,
just a couple weeks.
Last quick thing. I don't know if y'all know this, but we're in. Merry
Christmas.
We're in.
Merry Christmas. Roll Tide. See y'all later.
In. Roll Tide.
See y'all. Roll Tide.